That way we can see Baby Yoda instead. It's
Yeah.
more fun than the glow of a window.
Yep.
Well, first of all, thank you very much. It was really nice meeting you the first time, and I'm really excited that you're back again here. Because I really want people to understand that, there are a lot of good resources, such as yourself, that are out here helping businesses so that they can continue to grow, which is the whole premise of the community that I'm creating here. And in the podcast, as well as a Facebook group, is that I want people to have a resource for their own life, for with growth minded businesses that know how to serve their community. And I think that you are the epitome of just that.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome. And if you would, for those who are listening, because this will also be on Spotify, if you could tell us who it is that you are and the name of your business, and let us know what it is that you're doing, what good you're putting out here into the world for us.
Beautiful. All right. So my name's Edriana King, and I own and operate King Virtual Services. So we started off as like a small VA, a solo VA business, helping out other business owners, because everyone gets into business because they want to do something they're passionate about, and they don't realize how much admin and work there is behind the scenes. And then they end up spending probably like 50 to, I don't know, 70% of their time doing all that admin and behind the scenes work and they should be focusing on what they really want to do. So I started off by helping like a few smaller businesses, and then that just grew and grew. So now we do general admin. So think things like data entry, client onboarding. So often we don't realize how much time we spend on client onboarding, emails, getting internal systems set up, all those things. Um, Online form creations, email management, calendar management, creating like graphics and ebooks. And then we also do social media and marketing. So a lot of us know that we should have a consistent presence on social media, but a lot of small business owners just don't have the time or just don't like doing it. So it just gets put on the back burner. And then people obviously can't learn about them or, get to meet them in a fantastic podcast like this because, they just haven't had the time to get out there. So yeah, helping them to get that consistent presence on social media. And same with like marketing, email marketing. There's so many business owners that are like, yes, I'm going to start a mailing list. Yes, I'm going to send it out every month. And then maybe one gets sent out. Yep. Yeah. So yeah, we help them get those email marketing emails sent out. And then on a higher level, sometimes you get a business that's probably a bit bigger that might have scaled just a bit too quick and they don't have the processes in place and the systems behind the scenes. So they usually be running into errors. Things get, their staff don't know how to do things the way that they want them to do them. Maybe they can't bring on enough staff because they don't have the processes documented. So they're working like 100 hours a week and like completely going into burnout.
Right.
And they just don't have the time or space to create those processes or systems. And they need someone to come in and basically review their business and be able to sit down with them and say, hey, like, okay, what are you doing now? All right, this is what I think you should do. But unique to their business. So, if they're using a certain software and everyone in the business likes that software, we're going to use that software because it's going to be much like everyone's going to put their heckles up if you tell them, oh, go and use ClickUp. Or I use ClickUp because no one else likes ClickUp. It's just me. Yeah, so we set it up within their software and just make things flow more streamlined. So that's going to reduce errors. It's going to reduce the time spent on tasks. It's going to make sure things are done the right way, that you're meeting all the targets that you need to meet. And then we document it all so that they've got like a written manual so that they can walk away with and be like, okay, this is our starting point, because we all know that processes are always a work in progress because we always improve them. But they at least have a good starting point for their business and their growth so that they can just go ahead and push forward and keep growing and keep scaling, and just have the best businesses that they want. And, I guess at that stage, if you are that burnt out business owner that's working 100 hours a week, maybe getting some extra sleep and maybe spending some time with your family, which is, probably why you got into business in the first place. So yeah, giving them that power to spend the time where it matters most to them, where they make the biggest impact, is what we do in a roundabout way, but it's a lot.
You know what though? You are doing a lot. That is, I'm processing everything it is that you told me that you do, because I've done a lot of those things myself, and I understand how much work goes into that. I've taken on brand new projects and had to get in there and get my hands dirty and go, okay, first I'm going to do this, and then I document it for myself. I used to call it my dummy notes because they were for me, because I was doing all these different things. Like, you're in different companies and in different softwares. I was kind of doing the same thing. And so I needed my notes to look back on and know how it is that I got to this point, so that I could pick back up when I circled back around to it. And it also served as one like a historical type thing to a certain point. And then, of course, we turn the page and, and move forward. But there is a lot that goes into these processes in the how-tos, and making sure that other people can get in there and do what they need to do, and not solely rely on, for instance, one individual. Because we want to teach people to fish as much as we want to help give them fish. And it's important for these business owners to actually own their business and not be in their business so much. And the fact that you actually get in there and get your hands dirty, just like it reminds me of a waitress at a restaurant in Maryland one time. There was a bunch of blue crab that were brought to the table, and she's like, "Have you ever had blue crab?" We're like, "No." She's like, "Well, do you want me to show you how to do it?" We're like, "Yeah." So she picks up a crab and she's like, "There you go." And I'm like, and her hands are all just dripping with crab juice. I'm like, "Look at you, man. I love you. You're awesome."
Yep.
And that's kind of like what you do, is you get in there and you get your hands dirty so that you can organize things so that people can actually, do what they came there to do. And
absolutely.
And that's business in this case.
Yeah. And so many times we have clients and I'm like, okay, so how do you do this? And they're like, we don't know. It's all in our head. It's not written down anywhere. Or they'll give me a list and they'll be like, this is how we do things. And I'm like, I have no idea what this list means. I don't know how to do that.
That's not so bad either, because one, if they don't have anything, then a clean slate is super easy to just give them anything as a direction. And you have, processes that, work. So,
Yep.
That's why it is that they're hiring you. And even if they have something, at least it gives you an idea that they're trying something. And, I've taken and I've rearranged people's puzzle pieces before and said, well, instead of putting this one in front of that one, what if you did this instead? And just sometimes a little shift can make a big difference. But at least you're understanding their language, what it is that they're doing. So that way, when you're explaining something to them, it's not completely foreign. But processes aside, all the other stuff you do too. You were talking about, what would you say, graphics for ebooks and?
Yeah. So I've got a whole team behind me now. So we have 4 contractors. My husband works for me and we have 4 contractors. And so we have a social media and marketing team, which consists of 2 of our contractors who I work closely with to help on that side of the business. And then I have a couple of, including my husband, quite skilled general admin contractors who are, excellent at picking up. Usually I'll write processes for the tasks that they need to do. And so then they get the processes and then they take over that general admin. So the business owner, initially I've come in and helped them sort out their processes. And then they're like, hey, I don't want to do this. I don't want to hire a staff member because then I have to pay for, super. I have to pay for them for work cover. I have to pay for them to go to the toilet and sit there on their phones. I'd rather pay you an hourly rate to just get it done. So yeah, then the general admin team will take over and just be following those processes.
That's great. And, and the fact that you have all these people that understand what it is that you're doing, and they're bringing their business, their expertise, their, what they enjoy doing into it. And I kind of wondered if maybe this thing that I'm creating might not evolve into something like that. And if so, it's going to be pretty big.
Yeah. And
But
that's it, right? In business, you've got to dream big. Like a year ago, my whole goal a year ago was to get my husband a job with me, basically, like for us to both have jobs.
Mhm.
But then we hung around the right people and we started to dream a bit bigger.
Mm-hmm. It really does help when you're dreaming bigger. And I actually created something, I don't know, maybe a month or so ago about dreaming bigger. And I found this cool song that matched what my theme was. And I'm like, this is awesome. But so you do the ebooks, and tell me about your other contractors again. What is it? What all that you do?
Yeah. So we do general admin. So that's, all the stuff that if you were in a bigger business and put on a staff member, like an administrative staff member, that you would get them to do basically. So, like client onboarding, data entry, some customer service. Some businesses still need like sort of transcription type help, even though we have, more AI and availability for that now. Email management, calendar management. It might be more of the basic social media assistant stuff where they just need some things scheduled, or some, I guess, talking back and forth with clients on social media, editing and proofreading documents and putting them together. Ebook creation. So if you've got content that you just want created into an ebook and there's nothing that we'd have to write, we'll hop on Canva for you and throw that together. And then if you've got processes from like a Loom video, like if you use Loom to record your processes and you just need them documented, you don't need someone to go in and review and pull them out of your head and, optimize them all, then the general admin team can help with that too. We do basic bookkeeping, so we're not BAS registered, so we can't, like, there's certain restrictions on what we can do, but we can help out a little bit. And then online form creation, creating more like detailed documents, coordinating events. So we have like a client who runs like a kids program, like weekly for like 2 terms. So, we'll book the room hire and we'll put up the marketing campaign for that program, and we'll, client on board, then bring all the clients in and make sure all the communication to them is up to date, make sure they're filling in all the forms so that the facilitator just has to go in and take the class. We'll, do up an attendance sheet for them, give them, any other like resources that they need us to create in the background in preparation for that class, send that all off, and then all she has to do is rock up and facilitate the class, tick off who was there, write her notes on how they were doing, and then sends it back to us, and we'll collate that into a report that we then send to the parents.
What a great relief off of their shoulders. Holy moly. Like yeah, that's a huge help. Definitely, because then again, they can focus on what it is that they're doing, they can focus on the results and not have to worry about all this other stuff. Plus, they get feedback without having to go chase it. I mean, it's awesome.
And I mean, that's like the prime example of why we got into doing it, because the business owner was sitting there and she was like, I just want to facilitate this course. I don't want to do all the admin behind it. So we go behind the scenes and we do all that, and then she just facilitates the course, and this whole program runs smoothly and everyone has a great experience because everyone's doing what they love and the things are just getting done. So yep.
And you had said something about onboarding, and I don't know if you had a chance to watch or not. I know that you guys are extremely busy right now, but the very first video that I did on this podcast with Chris is about a training, an onboarding tool. Coming from corporate, I saw it as a perfect HR onboarding tool for any company to say, we care about you as a person, right? And
Yeah.
Chris, coming from the coaching world, he's getting coaches coming to him saying, can I use this as a done for you thing for my clients? He's like, absolutely, you know? And, you know, so
Amazing.
we're seeing from two different worlds. And I'm like, anyway, and it's, you know, it's kind of like, just like with you, you know, in this little world it is that I have, the more that I get to know everybody and what it is they're doing, the more I'm happy to go ahead and say, you know what, actually, you should probably get a hold of
Yeah.
this person over here. Because, you know, when if not, then we're stuck with Google, and we're stuck with asking people who may not have businesses who it is that they might know or recommend. And if we have a reliable source, and you know, we hire people based on whether we know, like, and trust them. Well, how do you get to know, like, and trust somebody? You do it through, you know, seeing them, meeting them.
Yeah.
Well, how can you meet them? Well, you can do it on a podcast like this, right? So now people can get to know your personality. They can see what you're like. They easily trust you. They easily like you. They're getting to know you, and they get to know what it is that your business does. And, you know, that's how it is that I want people to get together and collaborate and, you know, create a community amongst each other. For whatever it is that comes up in their life, a place where they can go and, you know, have people that they can know, like, and trust. You know?
Absolutely. And you know, you realize I would assume that most people realize pretty quickly in business, it's that whole, you know, it's who you know.
It is who you
And the
know.
more connected you can be and the more you can build that community up, um, you know, the better results for everyone. Like we're programmed to want that community. So
Yeah, well, and you know that it's interesting that you say that, because as my new title is a former
yes.
lifelong recluse. I am trying to understand community and why it is that I need it and the benefits of it and stuff. And actually, I'm just finding it to be pretty fun,
Yeah.
because, you know, I'm getting, you know, I'm listening to the energy that I'm getting from the individual when I go to select somebody to actually meet, like yourself, right? You just responded to a post that I had, and I'm like, and I did a little bit of my own research, and I'm like, okay, they seem to have the basic things that I'm looking for, so I'll go ahead and meet them. And I got to tell you, I've been batting 1,000. I'm doing really good
Good work.
at finding people, you know, I mean, and it's, you know, when we have the right energy to resonate with different people, life just kind of brings them to me. And those are the ones that I pay attention to. I'm like, okay, life says I should take a look at this one, so this is what I'm going to look at. And that's just kind of my focus. And, you know, how long does it take to look at a profile? But, you know, like you were saying too, you know, if people don't, if they're not showing you what their business is, you can't really know that they even have a business. If their profile is completely locked down, or, you know, like, for instance, I don't have a website yet. Maybe I need to look for a website builder. But
I'm sure
pull
it
one
won't be
into my
long.
community. You know, but if they don't, you know that, you know, there's these different things it is, or that there's even these options that there's, you mean I can get somebody to do that for me? Do you know how much of a
Yeah.
relief that would be? Like, I personally am enjoying the meeting part of everybody, so I wouldn't want this part handed off, but I can see where other companies who are looking for certain individuals for certain positions may not need to have that personal interaction themselves, whereas they can entrust that to somebody like yourself in order to do that onboarding type stuff. You know, and it's, I just love everything. And how long, and you've been doing this now for how long?
So I officially started at the start of 2021, and it was always just for me to make a little bit of extra income to like boost our family up so that I could stay home and homeschool my child. And then towards the end of last 2022, so November 2022, my husband said yes, he would come and work for me. And that was the point where I knew that I either had to set my boundaries and keep saying no to clients, taking on new clients, or I needed to grow the business. But then, yeah, so he decided in November to come across and work for me. But then I think it was by sort of January, February 2023, I remember walking into my business coach, like my coaching session with her, and I was like, I think the business wants to be bigger but I don't know what that looks like. And so 2023 was basically this roller coaster of self-discovery and personal development. Um, and we've come out the other side in a pretty good position. And yeah, I'm looking forward to 2024 and what that has in store for us.
Yeah, I love the learning process. I'm addicted to the learning process, and I
Yeah,
realized that a long time ago. I love to constantly learn new things. And I don't know if that's a detriment or a benefit to my business.
absolutely a benefit. Absolutely. I do find though
Thank
that,
you.
like, when I find like when you're going through those personal development stages, and like I call it leveling up,
Hmm.
and you sort of like you're all cool, you're cool, and then you have to like go like this, and
Hmm.
it sucks. It sucks so bad. It's so hard, and then it flattens out, and you're like, no, I've got this. I've got this. I feel like last year for me was just like straight up
Oh, yes, absolutely.
hard work, but yeah,
Yeah, I agree. And I feel like I've kind of gotten to here where I'm just kind of being able to breathe a little bit.
yeah,
But at the same time, I can feel there's another hill coming up here in about 2 weeks.
yeah,
And I'm like, oh,
yeah. And once you
better
start
start
noticing
running
it, it's
now
like,
and get
oh,
some
that's
speed.
it. Yep. This is me at the start of the year. I was like, oh, I'm just coasting. I'm like, no, start running, start running. Yep.
I love that your husband came on board with you also. One, not only because you guys are homeschooling your son, which gives you both time to do that and actually, parent together in ways where other parents might not be able to, right?
Yep.
Plus you're working together, so you have that whole business side, which allows you that adult interaction time on a a common level, for instance.
Yep.
Whereas if you have um people in two completely different types of positions, it may be difficult for them to always completely understand what the other one is dealing with. Whereas you guys, it probably just, I understand that there's always struggles. I'm not, I'm not, I am not going to disregard that. However, I think that again, it's just a growth, another learning experience, another way of, another hurdle to cut, to cut.
Yep. I'm with you.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah. No, I think like there's no way, him saying yes, and it's just like I've been in business for over a decade. So I've had two other businesses before this one. And when he said yes to come to work for me, it was just like that level of support. Like, and I guess it goes back to that community, but like having that support behind you,
Mhm.
and then I'm I'm someone who likes all the information before making decisions, and I'll usually take a little while to make a decision because I want to know everything, right?
Oh yeah,
He's
yeah.
like, I'm gonna come work for you, and then like, so that was the start of November, and then just before Christmas, so like 2 months, like less than 2 months later, he's like, oh, so I've told my boss that I'm gonna like go down to like 3 days a week from the start of next year. And then I was like, okay, all right, no worries, we're doing this then. Okay. And so I made it work. But had he not done that and like fully supported me in doing this, I would still be, probably paddling my feet. And he always pulls me up. So
Oh.
he has, that big, he has more of that big picture mindset. He
Mm-hmm.
finds it easier to go in that. And it's something that I've had to develop over this last year. Like I'm very good at doing the work, being that technical person who will go in and actually just get the work done. And I've got that grit where I can just like sit in it and get stuff done.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, what are you doing? Like, no, you don't need to just do all the work. Like you need to practice what you preach, and you need to start delegating and growing our team so that you can, help more people. And the
Mm-hmm.
more I listen to, the more I'm just like, okay, I can make this bigger impact if I help all the businesses I can help with the time that I've got. But
Mm-hmm.
if I develop a team that can do what I can do, and then I go out and I help bring in all these aligned businesses, our impact could be huge.
Exactly.
And that's what we want. We don't want, you know, business owners to go into business thinking, oh, I'll just do what I love, and then get stuck in all the stuff they don't, just getting stuck in burnout, not feeling like they've got the support, not feeling like they can put on, like they need to put on a staff member, but they can't afford that. So, you know, now we get to help all these businesses and make an even bigger impact, which I just want to keep growing, because I think that there's still way too many business owners just getting burnt out and not loving their business or their life anymore.
Absolutely, absolutely. And that's kind of the same thing that I saw, you know, like you did. And, you know, but I'm seeing there's all these businesses that are actually like they've started doing something, or they're so focused on doing their business and growing it that they don't even see themselves as to what it is that they've already done. And I want to make sure that other people know about them so that their growth can be, you know, more prominent, and they can actually start seeing the results of what it is that they've already done. And that's, you know, so I'm like, these so many cool people that come into our lives, and you're like, why does nobody know about you? Why does it? And then as I was telling Alan yesterday or the other day, whatever day it was, said, you know, what is it that we have to see a business name like 7 times, they say, in order for us to go, okay, why do I keep seeing this? What is this business? And of course the algorithms help out with that as well. You know, especially when we start to use different tools, even, you know, like hashtags or whatnot, it pops it up in front of other people so that they can go, if it's in alignment with them, right? And that's another way that these algorithms are so amazing, is they already know what it is. If you're in business, it knows that you're in a business. And if it knows that you're looking for something, it will bring that particular ad or that particular post in front of you to try to help you with whatever it is that you're doing. And I want to try to help facilitate that as well, because, you know, we want to help people. In
Yes.
whatever way they need help, we want to be able to help them. And you found the way. And I've done all of this stuff that you're talking about, and I may have gotten myself burnt out on it by spending those 70-hour weeks doing everything for everybody. And anyway, I
lessons learned.
yeah. I turned the page.
Good on you. Good job. There's way more to life than being burnt out.
There is. And I'm not saying that it's, you know, but there's other challenges, right? So, you know, if we have all these different pillars in our life, you know, we have our personal life, our business life, our community, you know, our health, right? You know, meditation, physical, whatever, however it is that you want to look at it. You know, we have all these different things in our life. And for instance, for me, it was, I would go to work, go home, go to work, go to home. You know, it was like, there was no me time. There was no time I didn't even know what to do with that time if I had free time, because I don't know. I'm not a concert person, you know, and people want to hang out and go to loud things, and I like the quiet. So no, that's not me.
I'm with you. I think I stopped going. I think my husband and I got married when I was 21. And I remember like we went to, I think it was like the end of that year. So it might have been, no, it would have been 21. We went to a concert. We went to Foo Fighters, which, you know, I love. But still, it's just like we can't keep doing this. We love Foo Fighters, but we don't love all this, you know, loudness, all these people. Yep.
It's a lot of energy, and I didn't realize it at the time. At the time, I didn't associate it with why I didn't enjoy it when I knew that I should have been able to enjoy it. I hear other people say, I enjoy it more watching it on TV. And I think that the difference there is that the energy that everybody gives off, for those of us who are more sensitive to the energy of other people, even if it's really good energy, it gets to be overwhelming and it's exhausting and it completely drains us. And then it's just not fun. It's like,
Yeah.
I don't want to do that anymore.
Yep.
Yeah. So it's, it's a good mix. And, you help to bring back a lot of that peace in people, you and your team, all of the people it is that you've collected for your own help in the world, to help bring some of that peace and organization and that trusted help that people really look for. And that's why it is that I appreciate you being here today and sharing with everybody what it is that you do, because I want people to know whether it's you or somebody else. And, maybe we'll get more companies in here that are like you that also want to be able to, because, we can't overload just you guys, right?
Yeah. And this is it.
I'm sure it'll grow, but
yeah. That's it.
but,
All the people helping all the other people. That's what we're all about.
well, and it doesn't matter at what level, because even, the bigger that you grow, then you have bigger needs and other people have bigger needs. And then there's different ways that we're able to help. But then I like ground up kind of stuff, because like you, I like having all the puzzle pieces. I like having all the knowledge before I go into something. I like seeing how it is that it's going to fit together. I've been saying for probably a year that I wanted to start a podcast, and I didn't even know why. Other than I was just told to get my face on camera more, and I'm like, fine, whatever. Now I really love it.
Yeah, and you're doing it. You're smashing it. I love it.
Well, thank you. Okay. I don't know if there's anything else that you want to talk about. We have about 7 minutes left. So you can talk about maybe anything, or you can just let us know where it is that people can find you. However it is that you want to go ahead and round out this little conversation here. And
Okay. Well, yeah, I suppose if you can find me, I'm assuming you will put a website link with the video, but
I will, but there's going to be Spotify,
www
so people aren't going to,
yes.
they need to hear it too.
Yeah, so at www.kingvirtual.com.au, or on Facebook as King Virtual Services, or Instagram as King_virtual_services. And yeah, you can find my contact details there. There's a contact form on the website that you can submit that just gives me a bit of information about what you might be after, and then we can book in for, an initial Teams meeting and have a chat about what you need, and then if it's a good fit, go from there.
And just for anybody who wants to understand, that Edriana is in Australia, and that's why she has such a beautiful accent. But from the East Coast, there is a 10.5 hour difference as well, which means that she's 10.5 hours ahead of us. So it's Tuesday morning her time, where it's 5 p.m. my time. So she's a little bit ahead of us, and she can help your business be a little bit ahead of where you're at right now too.
Oh, I love that.
That just came right out of me.
Yeah.
Life is so funny that way. We're the conduit, we just kind of let it flow.
That's it.
All right. Well, thanks again. I really appreciate you. I look forward to, catching up and keeping in touch and seeing where it is that you're at again in another 6 months or so. And, and just, help more people come together and help this community grow. And again, thank you very much for everything it is that you've done.
And thank you so much for the opportunity. I'm excited to see Resource for Life grow and the community grow. I'm excited to see who else you collect.
I know, right? Oh, I just had an interesting recording earlier today, so stay tuned.
Awesome.